Hi guys, welcome to this week's My Halifax. We're doing something that we haven't done for literally 5 or 6 years, which is an episode of Cooking with Adam. This week we're going to be making a lemon Victoria sponge with a cream and raspberry jam filling. So let's talk ingredients. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 cup of butter that's softened, 1 cup of confectioner's sugar or icing sugar, 2 eggs at room temperature, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half a cup of milk. So the first thing you're going to do once you've got all your ingredients measured and basically set up is actually preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you're going to grease your pan. Now they recommend 8 inches, but theoretically you could use different sizes. Just bear in mind you don't want your batter to be either too full or too thin. Then you're going to mix your flour and your baking powder together, so get a sieve and sift them into a bowl and set that to one side. Once you've set that aside, get your butter and your sugar, put it in an electric mixer and mix them together or beat them together. Once your butter and your sugar start to look light and fluffy, take your eggs and add them one at a time. Then get your vanilla extract and beat it into that mix as well. So now we're going to go back to our flour and baking powder mixture, and we're going to add that into our mix with the milk alternatively. And then once they kind of look like they've just started to mix, that's when you're done. You don't over mix it, so don't mix it for like 2 minutes or anything like that. So once your batter's got a nice and consistency, we're going to add it to the tins we greased earlier. Just be mindful that you don't overfill them because you need your cakes to rise. So now we're going to throw those pans into the oven and we're going to bake in the preheated oven, like I said, at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. The best way to test them is to put a toothpick into the middle and it should come out clean. So once you know your cake is ready and that toothpick has come out clean, you're going to take it out, leave it in your pan for about 10 minutes, allowing it to cool. And then you're going to turn it out once you're cooling rack, because when we do the frosting, we're going to need our cakes to be cool or else the frosting will melt. If you've ever watched Nailed It, that happens all the time. So like I said, for us, we're actually going to go, overdo our cake and we're going to put some frosting on it. And we're going to do a lemon frosting. I found this recipe on all recipes. In fact, a lot of the cooking I do, because we've got so much more time now, we're in self-isolation, is through all recipes. So if you're ever thinking, how can I make this meal, this dessert, this frosting, and check out that website because it's actually pretty good. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. Half a cup of butter, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 cups of confectionery sugar. Now we're going to talk about how we're going to make the frosting. The nice thing about this recipe is you put all the ingredients in a bowl and you mix them together. The only one thing I'll say about this recipe is when I made it last time is I found it to be quite sweet and sort of Gina, so I didn't use 3 cups of sugar or confectionery sugar, I only used 2. So I would just taste it and before you add that 3rd one in, just in case it's too sweet for you. So because you've let your cakes now cool down effectively, it will be much easier to frost them, and it also means that you won't actually have that frosting melt like I said earlier, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. What we're also going to do is once we finish frosting it, we're also going to grate some of the lemon zest on top of it, just to give it a bit more colour and texture. Like if you guys look back at the video for the cake I made with Mom, I didn't have lemon zest, or I didn't think about it, so that cake looks very white, and that lemon will just give it proper colour to make it look just a bit more presentable. So that is the end of this week's video. Thank you very much for watching. I know it's completely different from what we normally do, but it's something that we used to do. And also, where we are in self-isolation is still kind of difficult for us to keep making content that's interesting for you guys and stuff that you can kind of still do. So that's why we did cooking, because I know a lot of people I'm friends with are doing a lot more cooking because we have the time. They have opened up parks here, so we are kind of debating doing a park review. It's just a case of we're not sure, because we are still trying to keep away from as many people as we can. So we might start doing parks again. It just depends on how well and how busy those parks are. Thank you for watching. If there's any recipes or anything you'd like us to make, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to do that. Both Gina and I love to cook, and we love sharing stuff with you guys. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week.